Hey everybody, it's Ben. Let's see, get rid of this. Dina was at the board, but she was just typing to me. Hopefully you guys can hear me and see me. Everything's fine. I think we will be able to see Dina. It depends how far back she goes in her chair. But probably if she's sitting, we should be able to see her. Otherwise, I can make the chessboard a little smaller. And if we can't see the back of her hair or something. If you can hear me and see me, let me know. Yes, I slept for an hour. I ate first, and then I slept for an hour. I still groggy. Looks like she's playing an American who's not a child. So that's good. It's Dina. Okay, let's see. Yeah, when she sits like that, everything's fine. It's a good thing she's thin. If it was me, I'd be behind the chessboard by now. I'm so big. I wonder what Dina will play on move one. I actually don't know. She played d4. Okay. Still playing our stuff. Her opponent's an American. Looks like he's in his 40s. His FIDE rating is 1880. I can look him up. Let's see. Michael Carey. FIDE. Let's see. He's born in 1958. So he's a lot older than I thought he was. He's 66. Well, he could be 65. It's actually more likely he's 65. So he's 65 or 66 years old. I thought he was in his late 40s. So he looks pretty good for that age. I don't know what his U.S. Chess Federation rating is, but you guys can look that up. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's in his mid-60s to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does look like that. Okay, so they played a Benko while I was looking stuff up. Players nowadays either take or play b6. Okay, e3 is the old move from the 1980s and 90s, very popular in the US at that point. Guess he played g6. Where'd my analysis go? My analysis went away because I left it? It's possible. Because no moves have been made in the game yet. So that's weird. I've played E3, but it's been like 30 years. No, he looks very good. He's either 65 or 66. He does look like he's in good shape. So we have a Benko gambit. Dina's playing a line that was popular 30 years ago. I'm tired. Okay, it looks good. It looks like we can see everything pretty well. Her opponent's FIDE rating is 1880. I did take a nap. What I'm worried about is this game will take 5 hours and I won't have time to take a nap before my lecture at 6 on the Benoni. Yeah, white can play knight f3, bishop c4, e4. Probably not bishop c4, because then I would take. So I would think either knight f3 or e4. And sometimes they play rook a3 pretty early in this line. Go, Dina. She did play bishop c4. That indicates to me that she wants to play knight ge2 instead of knight f3. Now I would take on b5, because then if white takes with the bishop, white loses a tempo. I don't know what the cow is. I think I'm doing a lecture on it, but I don't know what it is yet. Can you tell us how the chess community reacted to the Colombo episode with the GM murderer? I don't think they reacted at all. Yeah, typically if white plays the bishop out first, white wants to play knight ge2 instead of knight f3. And this is reasonable in rook a3. This is a typical setup to blockade on the queen's side, so black doesn't get a lot of compensation. Okay, he did take. I think she'll take with the bishop. Taking with the knight's okay. Just seems more natural to take with the bishop. Yeah, and she'll definitely play knight e2 and rook a3 and castle. And just try to say I'm a pawn up. Hamish W27 subscribed. Thanks for supporting the stream, Hamish. Cal sounds like White is just making passive moves. So somebody in one of the chats said that Dina's opponent used to be 2,200 U.S. Chess Federation rating. But now he's in his mid-60s, so I guess his rating went down or he's on his floor. See if anybody's watching on YouTube. Where's the live button? This is the wrong thing. Huh. Ah, okay, this is right. Okay, I got to the YouTube viewing. I didn't see what moves they made because I wasn't paying attention. Actually, I don't think they made any moves. So it's good I wasn't paying attention. I would have paid attention to nothing. The bird opening was named after a song by Nelly Furtado. NZ and Hero subscribed. Hooray! Thanks for supporting the stream. The Trashmen did contribute to the theory. That is correct. Man, my chat's pretty on the ball. Thanks, Champ1977, for subscribing and starting a hype train. Wow. Yay. Open Showstu gave 100 bits. Thank you. And Snowdog666 subscribed. Thanks for supporting the stream. Go, hype train, etc. How can one improve my OTB chess skills? I don't think one could do that. I think you have to do that. Should play better. He's playing pretty quickly, her opponent. She can play e4 or knight e2 or knight f3. They're all reasonable for white. You can improve your skills by studying and playing. Go, Dina. For those of you who weren't here for the early morning round, Dina had a lost endgame, and her opponent made a one-move blunder just as he was about to win, and the game ended in a draw. Go, Dina. Did she play knight e2? I think so. I think she played knight e2. Dina's been reading my book, Eat Like a Grandmaster. The level of titles, because people were arguing, is GM, then IM, then WGM, then WIM, then WFM, then WCM, and then British GM. That's an order of strength. How does it come that you commentate Dina's games? Asked several times a stream. Is she a former student of you? Yeah, I don't know. Nigel and Adams are the exceptions that prove the rule. It's Chuck Edelman. Looks like her opponent got his glasses. Isn't Ginger GM a British GM? Exactly. He is the quintessential British GM. So white wants to play very solid and block up the queen side, because typically in the Benko gambit, black is getting counterplay down the A and B files. And so by white putting her pieces thusly, she's trying to block the queen side so that black won't do anything very active. Whereas white is not only a pawn ahead, but can play e4 very soon and have a nice center. So that's the reason you play e3 and take with the bishop and play knight e2. It's a system that was very popular in the US in the 80s and 90s against the Benko gambit. Benko gambit not played as much anymore as it used to be. Matter of style and taste. There's a lot of different lines for white, and black has to learn all of them. This is just one of them. Actually, let me open chess base. Jesus, chess base, just open. God damn, stop being such a bitch. E3, G6. So the interesting start to this game was on move 8, which was in this position, when Dina played bishop c4. Bishop c4 is the third most common move. The most common is knight f3. The second most common is e4. Bishop c4 has been played by Spassky, Novikov, Henkin, and Babula, so it can't be too bad. A takes b5 is the most common move, played by Fedorowicz and Hodgson. Fedorowicz, a well-known Benko player. Bishop takes b5 is more common than knight takes b5, although knight takes b5 has had strong players play it also. So nothing wrong with that. And let's see, we have 19 games in my database in this position, and in most of them, black played bishop b7. It doesn't score very well. Let's see, the highest rated player with black is 2540, Goffstein and Lenka. Also of note is Pia Kramling has had black in this position. She played knight a6 and she drew. It's somebody who was slightly lower rated than she. So bishop b7 is the most common move. And then knight ge2 is the only move that's ever been played, even though e4 is very reasonable. And we have 8 games in this position, with white scoring 7 out of 8, 7 wins and 1 loss. Now we have more games now that I've clicked it again, which doesn't make any sense. Anyway, white's score in this position in the database is fantastic. It's scoring 85% with white in this position. And the engine says white's slightly better. E6 is the most common move. Knight a6 is the alternative. Let's see, did he move yet? Don't think he did. This is the Benko Gambit, or as some people call it, the Volga Gambit. Whoa. That was odd. It's my fault, but still odd. So the good engine says white is 0.6. So that's good. And white scores like 85% in this position. He moved e6. That is correct. So the best move for white, the most obvious one, is e4. Also reasonable for white is knight f4, alternative. Can they use phone in WC? No. Zoom Kirchu subscribed on Dina's stream. Thanks for supporting the stream. This is the most thrilling. You can cheat as long as you don't get caught. Hall & Oates wrote a song about this game. She's gone. Will she ever come back? The Benko gambit is quite complicated. Black is willing to try to get long-term compensation for a pawn, and white is willing to be up a pawn. I would put a pawn at e4. Tell me why I'm bad at chess. You're bad at chess because you play really bad moves all the time. However, your comment about e4 was pretty good. Glad I could be of service. Yeah, but Iceland has a well-known saying at the coffee shop, we put the lava in Java. So their coffee's pretty hot. 718-329 subscribed. Thank you. I shall take your money. Go Dina. And come back to the board. I've never seen Dina have white or black in a Benko gambit. But it seems like she's familiar. 2 coffees, what else? Time control is 40 moves in 90 minutes, followed by game in 30 minutes, with a 30-second increment starting at move 1 per move. Same as the Prague Open. So in this position, e4 is the best move, and an alternative is to play knight f4. Both moves defend the d5 pawn. White doesn't want to take and give away the center and open up this bishop, open up the f-file, give black control of the center. e4 is the most standard move. Also suggested by the chat. This guy is a national master. I don't know. Chess is chess. E4, D4, what else? And she played E4. Now she's played E4 and D4. I think she's transitioned into D4 quite nicely. I don't understand. It seems like, I guess I'll refresh. The game doesn't have any moves yet. Ah, there we go. Now that's moves. Okay, this is what chess.com has. And since their position, the moves E6 and E4 have been played. It says white's playing 98.2 and black is playing 98.7. So far, the engine approves of both players' play. Yeah, I slept for about an hour. Wait, why did it go back to that? Stop doing that. He's a U.S. Chess Federation National Master, if you can call that a title. Chuck, 1880 is his FIDE rating. It's not related to his U.S. chess rating. You should know that. After all, you're an FM. Yeah, he's 65 years old, so probably his ratings, USCF and FIDE, are not as high as they used to be. He is getting Social Security until Trump becomes president. And then everybody goes to jail. $100 bits. Thanks for the support, Just See Chess. Come on, Dina, you didn't have any of your coffee yet. Terrible. There you go. I'm not even sure if it's coffee. It could be tea. Who knows what it is? Knight a6 was played. Let's see if the e4, knight a6. Yeah, the engine quite likes white and doesn't think black has enough compensation for a pawn. Lots of moves are good for white here. Simply castling, taking on e6, bishop c4. Black just doesn't have enough for a pawn. So engine quite likes white's position. Who has better chance in candidates, Biden or Abbasov? About the same. I usually go no Trump. Me and Chuck Edelman like no Trump. What do you want to do Friday? Day off at the candidates. Friday is a day off? What? You sure? I don't know, probably have Asian food. Any mods on Dina's channel? I guess some. Karen's a mod. Like banning people on Dina's channel. I finally feel important in the world. Go Thaddeus and Kangaroo. That's my mom's birthday, Chuck Edelman. R.I.P. I don't know what to do on the rest day. Whatever West decides. He knows Toronto better than me. He probably knows where the bridge clubs are, too. Let's see. Did Dina make a move? It looks like she castled. So let's just say that she did. They traded on d5? How did they move without me seeing them? Is it because I'm blind? Seems likely. So far, Dina's playing better than perfect. Let's see. The chat in YouTube is any worse than the Twitch chat. All right, their chat's not terrible. Or is it? I'm wondering what counterplay black has with the pawn minus. Typically, if white plays an early a4 in the Benko, white is ceding the b4 square. So black can play knight b4 and not get the knight kicked out. It puts pressure on the d5 pawn, as you can see. And black also can improve his rook by playing rook e8 on the nice open file instead of doing nothing. So black has some improving moves, but the onus is on black to show that he has compensation for the pawn. Do I agree with your above statement on Jeffrey Zhang? I didn't see it. Hey, he made a move, but nobody knows what it is. He played knight c7. I would think the knight has a better future on b4 than c7. That's strange to me. I mean, now bishop c4 is rather obvious. The knight doesn't seem great here. Let's see what the good engine says. The good engine says knight c7 is better. That surprises me because I like the b4 square for the knight. I guess after bishop c4, it wants to play bishop a6, Chuck Edelman style. Did she play bishop c4? I never see them physically move. I'm too slow. And he does play bishop a6. So Dina can defend her bishop take something like queen d3, or she can trade on a6. I mean, she's going to play queen d3 or take. I don't know which one. If I was a betting man, I would guess queen d3. But I don't know which move is better. Bishop takes is also a perfectly cromulent move. I don't like bishop a2 very much, because then the bishop on a6 is quite active. That seems like a very good bishop on a6. It's just going to sit there the whole game and control a lot of squares in white's territory. And bishop a2 is possible. She could play that. But I don't like giving black such an active bishop. I guess... Oh no, black can't do that. I'm not really a fan of b3. That seems quite weakening of the dark squares. And trade on c4, the c4 pawn's weak, and then knight can come to b4. I don't really like b3. I like queen d3 and takes. I think the engine slightly prefers taking. Okay, and she did take. He can take either way, both reasonable. The good engine says rook takes is a lot stronger. It says regardless of rook takes or knight takes, white should play d6. And I guess white can cement the pawn on d6 with knight b5 and bishop f4. And he did capture with the rook, the recommended move. Sometimes in the Benko gambit, black moves the rook vertically, and then plays queen a8, putting pressure on the d5 pawn and the a file, and then can play rook b8. d6 looks risky because possibly black has chances to win the pawn with knight e8 and queen b8, put pressure on the pawn. But the engine says d6 is the best move. But I could see not playing it because you're worried about knight e8 and getting your d pawn attacked and possibly losing your d pawn. White can play more boring moves like knight f4, rook e1. And white's a pawn up, so black has to show compensation. White has a passed a pawn also, which should be good in the endgame. Not only does Dina have a nice hat, but her homies agree she really looks good in black. Fool. They both have a lot of time. That's how much time they have. Does anybody know how Anna Cramling did last round? Draw? Very good. I made you commentary on the candidates for chess.com, but just from my home for the first few rounds. I don't know yet. It's possible. And then I'll be doing commentary. I'm sorry. Then when I go to the candidates, just going for fun. I'm not going to do any work there. The Ben bot is supposed to come out today, but I haven't heard anything from them. So it might come out today. I don't know. They should make an announcement. They haven't contacted us in like 8 days. So 8 days ago, they told us it would come out today, but that doesn't mean that it will. We're only following Dina's game this tournament. We're not following other people's games. If you want to see Anna Cramling's game, the Anna Cramling channel has her mother Pia looking at the game. Yeah, but thinking isn't your strong suit past pawn. Somebody on my channel said, I thought new bots come out at the end of the month. And on Dina's channel, somebody said, I thought bot updates on the first of the month. And the answer is the middle of the month. Yeah. Other games are not interesting. Only Dina's game is interesting because she has a cool hat. Are you staying at the one hotel in Canada? I am not. Will you meet Vichy in Toronto? No, I'm going to be coming to the end of the candidates, and Vichy's going to be there at the beginning. Bot updates on chess.com only come in even numbered years. So this is a critical position because whether white plays d6 or not will change the course of the game. Because if black gets to play d6, then white will never play d6. So d6 is considered the best move by the engine. But it's risky because you might lose your d6 pawn. On the other hand, you might not lose your d6 pawn. So it is a Benko. I can hear Karen's class upstairs. She has a poker group meet from noon to 2 every day. After I said that, I can't hear it anymore. Darn. Dina's actually been at the board quite a bit this game. I think she was only gone for a long time on one move. How come in Dina's chat there's a guy who types in all caps every time? Is this your first time on the internet, sir? Maybe it's Donald Trump. How did you cultivated, although you wrote cultivated. Interesting use of the word cultivated. How did you cultivated your sense of humor? It's pretty unique. So once you spelled humor with a U, it must be the British spelling of cultivated. What? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I do, etc. What opening was this? The Benko Gambit. Black sacrificed a pawn on move 3, and black is still down a pawn. How much wood could Ivanchuk chuck if Ivanchuk could chuck wood? $20 is about right. Yeah, she played Queen D3. Like mouse slipped Queen D4. That's not a good move. So the two most logical moves for black are D6, which prevents white from playing D6 later, or the aforementioned Queen A8, which puts pressure on the D5 pawn, makes a battery on the A file, protects the rook some more. They're about equally good, and white is slightly better after both. Queen A8 is a real Benko Gambit type player's move. It's kind of a typical move in these openings. So in this position, white's threatening D6, attacking the knight. Knight's defending the rook. So that's why Queen A8, which defends the rook, or D6, which prevents D6, are the two most logical moves. Super GM isn't a title. It's just a phrase people use when people are very high rated. Typically, most people use it for players who are 2,700 plus FIDE, but it doesn't really have a formal usage. Super Duper GM is an official title. Okay, and he did play Queen A8, which is, again, what Benko players like to do. And now white can defend her pawn on D5 with either knight F4 or rook D1. Yay, BStat160 gifted a sub on Dina's channel. Thanks for the support. Black's compensation is nice open B file, pressure on the D5 pawn, nice fianchetto bishop. It's long-term compensation. Some people, it's not to their taste. A lot of grandmasters don't like being down a pawn, just on general principle, whether the opening is good or not. So they wouldn't play the Belenkaya gambit because they're down a pawn. Hit the restroom. I'll be back. Possibly more awake, but I doubt it. Yay, I did not fall down the stairs. Let's see, did I miss a move? Her clock is running, and she's not at the board. Yeah, I think he just played Queen A8 a few minutes ago, and she hasn't come back yet. Both sides have a lot of time. Let's see what the current board position on chess.com is. It says white's playing 98.8 and black is playing 98.3. And it wanted white to play d6. It's not a fan of queen d3. It thinks it gives away a lot of white's advantage. But the engine still prefers white. But only slightly, just slightly. I fear my Benoni lecture tonight's going to be quite poor. Luckily, you guys don't know the difference, but if you did, yeah. Maybe I'll get another 2-hour nap in, then I'll feel better. The truth does hurt, Thaddeus. Anand and Carlson lecture was great. Thank you. I try to be entertaining and informative. Sometimes I'm neither. What opening do you play with black? Well, depends what white plays on move 1 and what I'm in the mood for. I play all openings. Dina's been gone a very long time this move. Also, I don't see either one of her drinks, so I'm very confused. Maybe she's getting more drinks. What else? Thanks, Mountain Dude. I'm the best coach in my chair as long as nobody's touching my chair. Why are you and Hammer coaching here and on Bote's channel? What? Why does anything happen? Why do birds suddenly appear every time one F4 is near? Just like me, they long to be close to you. What was your favorite thing to drink while you played OTB? I guess Perrier and or coffee. Why are you not playing in tournaments like this? Because I retired from tournament play almost 2 years ago. I think the stronger engine wants white to play rook d1 here, which makes sense since white played queen d3. So that sort of opens up the defense of the d pawn. And she plays rook d1 on cue. Very good. What is the diet of a grandmaster? You know, queens, rooks, and knights, and bishops, pawns. I have no idea what move he played. I guess he played d6, because I think I see a pawn on d6. It's a good reason. Yeah, the engine thinks white's advantage is to a minimum here. So black has an idea in the Benko and Benoni, which we see often, which is knight g4 to e5. So in this particular position, the engine wants white to play h3, which prevents knight g4. And also, in case of bishop f4 later, the bishop can drop back to h2 if it's attacked by the knight. So h3 is very reasonable. It says knight g3 is also a move. I guess white can play knight e4 later. I don't think I would consider knight g3, but okay. That's me. I think both players are satisfied with their positions. Black has compensation for a pawn, and white has an extra pawn. So everybody is happy. And I'm still too hot. My commentary is not very good today because I'm exhausted. Getting up and doing commentary at 5 a.m. is definitely not my thing. I seem to have lost my voice too. I had coffee this morning for the first round. Dogs are finally barking. What's happening? Beastat 160 gifted a sub on Dina's stream. Thank you. She played knight g3. Engine approved. I guess white wants to play bishop g5 and knight e4. Although maybe just knight e4. These are the kinds of positions where better player is going to win because material is not equal and both sides have a wide variety of plans to choose from. Black could play rook e8 with the rook on the open file, rook to b8 on this open file, h5 to kick the knight with h4, knight g4 to play knight e5. And white can respond to those moves in different ways also. So this is the kind of position you want if you don't like draws and you're playing for a win and you think you're the better player. Michael's rating is 1880. You should play whatever openings that you enjoy playing. Shouldn't let other people tell you what openings to play. You're the one playing the chess game, not somebody else. Do as I say and don't listen to anybody. Wisdom comes with experience. Hebden yelled at me after the game you're referring to, because he offered me a draw at some point and I didn't respond, and he thought that was rude, even though it's quite common. We ended up drawing anyway. Does anybody have any intelligence on how the Botez sisters are doing this round? Does anybody care what time it is, etc.? Alexandra's getting crushed. Go C.L. Smith. Hammer is not impressed. Who are the lady and gentleman? What? They're chess players. I think he played rook b8 because I don't see his rook on f8, e8, d8, or c8. So therefore, he played rook b8. Yeah, I like h3 here. Stopping knight g4 to e5. Dina's game this morning ended in a draw. Yeah, black's position is perfectly cromulent. What would Fisher say about Twitch streamers bringing in cameras? Probably something anti-Semitic. Go, Dina. Push to pawns gifted a sub. Thank you. Push to pawns subscribed. Thank you. Go push to pawns. Yeah, H3 is a real Ben Finegold move. Doesn't do very much. Stops knight G4. No point. That's the kind of move I like. Doesn't hurt anything. Gives white some lift later. Bishop F4 like sacrifices this pawn. Leaves the bishop open to attack. Is 1284 ELO good? I use Shredder chess. Any tips? Yeah, you're doing good. Everything you said was good. Queen F3, the engine approves. That also stops knight to G4. Now, if it was white's turn, she could consider bishop G5, attacking the knight. One of the engine moves, which is not the top engine move, but it doesn't lose, is a move that would appeal to the gawking rabble who are watching. And that move is knight to b5. It's not the best move, but it's fun for the audience. Black wants to play knight d4, and taking advantage of this pin. The engine doesn't think that white has any advantage anymore. Dina didn't had food, right? Nobody knows. She was eating some snack at the board. I think she had some food yesterday. Dina doesn't look like Dina in this video. It's like she has more makeup on than usual, and she has that hat on, and she's looking from the side. It's like, if I didn't know that was Dina, I wouldn't think that was Dina. I know it's Dina, but if I didn't know, I would think that that's not her. Yeah, the hat hides her pretty well. Yeah, it looks a little like Andrea. It could be they're doing a face-off, and that actually is Andrea. She's sitting like Andrea, too. It's very strange. But we'll know if it's Andrea or Dina when she punches her opponent in the face. If it hurts, it was Andrea. If it doesn't hurt, then it's Dina. Yeah, I never thought Dina and Andrea would be lookalikes, but I guess when you hang out all the time, you start looking like each other. H6 is just a weakening move. It doesn't really have a point. So, no, he's not going to consider H6. Yeah, but bishop g5 isn't necessary to stop. Black can play knight d7 to e5. H6 is just unnecessarily weakening. After this round, there's 3 rounds left. This is round 6. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is round 7s, 8, and 9. 7s? Is there a chance of winning the tournament? No. These tournaments are for content, not for winning. Yes, black can play rook b4, rook b3, knight d7, rook e8, all very reasonable. That's why the position is equal, because both sides have several choices at their turn, which keeps the position about level. It's not like it's equal, but only if black plays super precisely. Both sides can do basically whatever they want, and there's nothing that's going to happen in the short run. That's why the engine thinks it's equal. Sometimes people get a little too ambitious in these positions and play too aggressively. Is it true that Iceland is really green and Greenland is really ice? No. They're both ice. And so forth. They're both very cold. I think Greenland is worse. Greenland has no people and no cities and nothing. And Iceland has lots of good stuff. There was a guy on like a memory, it wasn't a game show, it was like a competition they have every year in Britain, like a memory competition. And he was able to name everybody who lived in Greenland. Amazing. Just remembered all their names. Population of Greenland today, over 55,000. Well, it is true that I made all of that up. I just thought it was a funny thing to say. But I set it up pretty nicely. Rook b3 was played. The engine says that's fine. It would like Dina to break this pin, because at some point black may be threatening the d5 pawn since the knight's pinned. So queen e2 makes a lot of sense to unpin. It's psychologically difficult to play queen e2 after you've played queen d3 and queen f3, even if it's the best move. No, I mean, it was a joke, everything I said about the memory championship. But yes, there are people who could remember 56,000 names, for sure. Especially the guy who died. His last name was Peak. Forgot his first name. Something Peak. But the thing is, like, in any subject matter, there's always like 4 or 5 people in the world who are just insanely good at things that don't really make any sense in the human existence. They're just aberrations. And then the rest of the world is normal. Can you explain rook b3? Yes, the rook moves vertically down the b file and lands on the b3 square. Thanks for your question. Ooh, Alves Pixodo subscribed. Joe Girgiola. How old am I? I am pretty old. Chuck, who's older, me or you? I don't even know who's older. I guess you are, but I'm not sure. I don't meet a lot of people who are older than I am. You're 4 years older? I mean, I knew that. I just don't remember it because I'm so old. What's the point of rook b3? It pins the knight on c3 to the white queen. And it blocks the b pawn, and it puts the rook on an active square. Dina has 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. This is her 6th game. Yeah, Chuck, this guy who's playing here is either 65 or 66. Looks pretty good. I'm going to refresh so we get the clocks right. Clocks are just wrong. They'll be right after I refresh. Okay, Dina has half an hour and her opponent has an hour and 7 minutes. So that's not ideal. I guess she played queen f3. And he played rook b3. I think that's all we're missing. Meeting Aviv for lunch on Friday. How far do you live from Aviv? Tell Aviv I said that when you guys go out to eat, that you should not let Aviv leave the tip. You get him to laugh. I don't know what she played. Oh, she played rook a3. The engine said rook a3 was fine, but I didn't think she would play that. I met Aviv in the 80s, but it wasn't near 1980. It was probably closer to 1985. Why would you trade rook for rook? Which side? The engine recommends quite highly that black play rook takes a3. And it says the resulting position is about equal. Did you ask Aviv to go to Toronto? Did he consider it? He could not get away. Truth hurts. Am I sleeping or thinking? I'm doing neither, but I am thinking about sleeping. So, sort of. No, tomorrow, and the next 3 rounds are all 1 round a day. They're at either noon or 11 Eastern AM the next 2 days. And the last round's at 7 AM Eastern. So the last round is pretty early, but the other 2 are just at normal times. This is White's 20th move, Rook A3. It's Ivanchuk. Is it legal to wear that hat? It's actually not legal, and it's possible the Icelandic authorities will actually handcuff her at the board and arrest her for wearing a hat. Beastat 160 gifted a sub. Thanks for supporting Dina's stream. It's a little thing called style. Look it up. Go Bender, go Bender. What'd he do? He retreated. Always retreat. Rook B4. That's a immoral victory for Dina, forcing the rook away. Or maybe it's amoral. Now the engine thinks white is slightly better again. Rook A3 sort of helps white. White often plays Rook A3 in this variation. The rook can often get developed to the E file. It defends things. It's defended on A3 as opposed to on A1 where it's not defended. So either knight GE4 or H3 are the most likely moves. How can black think about anything but rook takes A3? And then he didn't play it. Wait, did stuff happen? Confused. Looks like she played H3 because H2 looks empty. Did she play H3? I don't see anything on H2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, black has nice activity and white has an extra pawn. So very Benko-like position. Did you play Paul Benko? It's not Paul, it's Pal Benko, P-A-L, and the answer is no. A more interesting question, is, have I played in the same chess tournament as Palbenko? And I think the answer to that is still no. I've seen Palbenko. He's been at tournaments I've been to, but he wasn't playing. He had a serious case of hold. Palbenko was a grandmaster before I was born. What are my thoughts on the Benko Gambit? You know, it's chess opening. Let's see what they're saying on YouTube. They got 319 people watching. Nothing chess related in the chat. They talk about a lot of other stuff. Oh, I can't move the mouse over to this computer because it's different. There's 3 different chats going at once. It's Ben and Karen Twitch channel, Dina Belenkaya Twitch channel, and Dina Belenkaya's YouTube channel. We're streaming across all 3 platforms. Although maybe it's 2 platforms. I don't know where Fisher is buried except that it's in Iceland. I like Dina's minimalist approach. It doesn't give her an advantage really, but it doesn't ruin anything. He played knight to d7. I mean, you have to play knight ge4 here. That's why you played knight g3. And pressure on the d pawn is all gone. So I think White's going to play knight here. Will she analyze queen f7? She will not. Then the queen would move away because black is threatening knight takes queen. Maybe that is Andrea Botez. Maybe we're looking at the wrong game. Hmm. Mm. Yeah, white should definitely play knight ge4 here. The knight's very good on e4. Black knight moved away from f6, and the d pawn doesn't have as much pressure on it after knight d7. Knight's just good on e4. Gives white another square for his queen. And she did play knight ge4. Yeah, I like white's position. White's pieces are quite nice. Mm. It's time for a nap break. That sounds like a made-up story, Chuck. The first game played today was a draw, yes. I think chessresults.com has updated rating information based on the results. Both positions seem like players have harmonious piece to piece placement. I don't know what Dina's live rating is. Her rating for the tournament's 2164. I think she gained rating points in Prague. I mean, it seems very likely that he'll play knight e5 since he played knight d7. So knight e5 is a continuation. And what's interesting is later in the game, if black decides to play knight c4 or c4 and knight d3, both of those plans are possible. And he did play knight e5. Queen e2 is the best move. Queen g3 is second best. But queen e2 is clearly the best move. It's not obvious to me. Like, I would think queen e2 and queen g3 are both good. I wouldn't know which move is better. But the engine says queen e2 is a lot better. This gives white an advantage, and this is just equal. The queen on e2 does protect these important squares. White has to be careful that black might play rook d4 and put tremendous pressure on the d5 pawn. It's a very complex position. And she did play queen e2. Good. Yeah, this is an important diagonal to have control over, or at least fight for it. Is that clock accurate? It is not. I can refresh and make the clock more accurate. Now the clock is accurate. Long-term plan for white is to not lose any of these pawns and retain her pawn advantage for the rest of the game, well into the end game. Eventually put pressure on the d6 pawn and untangle the position by developing her bishop, possibly kicking the knight out later. Black's the one who needs to find an interesting plan since white's up a pawn. To play queen e2. I knew that. I mean, white's goal is that black runs out of steam and black can't improve the position anymore. It just has to wait. The engine wasn't very thrilled with this seemingly normal maneuver and now thinks white has a nice advantage. I mean, that's a typical maneuver, but it allowed white to play knight e4 also, and white's knight is quite strong on e4. White can play bishop g5, bishop f6, knight f6. And you ever played Chess Hustlers in the Park? Did you mean or? I like the way Dina's playing this game. This seems quite nice. It says both sides are playing 97.2. I need several naps. Like wet naps. Yeah, I've been to places where have people playing chess outside. Sometimes those people are me. But that was before you were born. Did you see Irina's comments about how she kicked a wall in the hole in the wall of a hotel? Those sound like my comments. She would be a solid streamer. Probably, if she did talk about it recently, it's because of, the Han situations. Hey, surgeon. Halfway through the bridge tournament. What? It's too exciting. Stop the bridge tournament. Wait, what'd he do? I saw him make a move, but I don't know what it was. Oh. Somebody help me. Everything looks the same. H6. I mean, that can't be a good move. It just can't. You don't want to play H6. There's some things I understand as a GM that I can't necessarily explain. Like, you just don't want to play H6. Just weakens the king side. He played H6 to stop things from going to G5, but it's not a move you want to play. Pawn's better on H7. Yeah, bishop f4 is a reasonable move. A very interesting move for white now is knight b5, attacking this pawn. Then if you take and I take, black's going to get in trouble there. So this is very interesting. Then we could take this and take this. I don't know how she's going to feel about that. To ask Ivanchuk. Dina's quite a bit behind on the clock, but I'm not very concerned. Especially since I'm not playing. If I was playing, I'd be concerned. I might order food and eat lunch on this stream. That would be interesting, indeed. Haven't eaten on stream in a while. All the places I like are closed. Yeah, buyer's remorse. I didn't buy anything. Vegan pizza is good. Man, lots of people walking around. Usually when you're deep in thought at the board, you don't notice people walking around very much. Yeah, she did play knight b5. That was the most interesting move, so I was hoping she'd play that. Now everything can take everything. It's too confusing. So that's good. Now the game's too exciting. So according to the good engine, black must play knight takes d5. Otherwise, black's position sucks. The second best move is knight e8 to defend the d pawn. At any other move, and black has a losing position. There's a lot of captures here, although we can't allow knight takes c7, so black's choices are limited. Let's see if this place is open or if they close for lunch. I mean, in the middle of the day. What day is today? Monday? Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is. It's Monday or Tuesday. It's Monday. I knew it was one of them. Now, if I knew what year it was. The Dina chat isn't very lively. There's very little chat. Are you retired, Chuck? Quasi-retired. Westberger, the guy who's coming to Toronto also, the goal of his life is to be retired more years than he worked. And he's getting close. He has to make it to 85 years old. And he worked for 30 years, and he's been retired like 28 years. So he's trying to be retired for at least 30 years. Got to beat the system. He worked for Chrysler. He was a computer programmer before people knew what computers were. You know, like in the 60s and 70s. He did old school programming. And what's funny is in university, he had nothing to do with programming. That wasn't a skill that he obtained at university. But somehow he got a job at Chrysler. I think COBOL is right. COBOL's the 80s. Fortran might be right too. He worked for them in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, or 60s, 70s, and 80s. Let's see, if he retired for 30 years, that would be 1994, but he's not retired for 30 years. So he retired in 91. So I guess he worked from 61 to 91 for Chrysler. Or wait, that's not right. It's the other way around. So I have to add, so 97. So he worked from 67 to 97 for Chrysler. And then 97 to now he's been retired. I mean, he was an office worker. He didn't go to assembly stuff. That's right. Started working, and he went to university with my dad. That's where they met at Wayne State University. They were on the chess team together. Wayne State University came third in the Pan Ams when my dad and Wes Berger played on the team. The third board was Gary Abram, who later became a very famous postal player who lived in Kearney, New Jersey. He was one of the top 10 postal players in the world, before computers took over. And then board 4 was a guy named Topalov, which is funny. I beg you to share with us the players' timers. No! Black has 36 minutes, and White has 22 and a half minutes, and this is move 24. I think Wes programmed in BASIC, and also either Fortran or COBOL. Yeah, Wes almost quit Chrysler because all of these teenage girls who were coming into Chrysler all the time kept calling him BASIC. And he didn't like that. It looks like he took on D5, so we'll just say that he did. So Dina can play knight on E takes D6. I think knight B takes C6, D6 is a mistake because this knight's defending this knight. I can play F5 and kick it, but this knight can't be kicked. So I think knight E takes D6 is the move. And I think White has a nice advantage. White does have an extra pawn. You can play knight B takes D6. It doesn't lose to F5, but it gives away all the advantage. But she'll definitely play this. I can just play it now. I don't know why I'm wasting time waiting for her to move when I can make them move for her. Ridiculous. I'll just play the rest of the game out, and then the players will follow along eventually. I would be very surprised if she didn't play the move that I've already played. That's good live coverage. I give you the coverage before the moves are made. Chess.com waits 15 minutes after the moves are made. Are you in Iceland? I am not. I am at home in my basement. I was in Tulsa a few days ago. How tired are you? Very. Finegold, 300 bits. Hey, Finegold. Thanks for money. Money for people. Oh, I didn't have the current position on the board. This position's super complicated. Black can take either way on a4. And it turns out the c pawn may be more of a weakness than a strength. And white's knight on d6 may be extremely powerful. So the engine likes white. And it looks like Dina was way behind on the clock earlier in the game, and now she's catching up. Yeah, I'll call Wes now and ask him about his job at Chrysler. Most streamers wouldn't do that because it's stupid, but it's pretty stupid. So. You guys can ask questions too in the chat if you want to ask Wes questions. Ah, I didn't answer. Terrible. Das ist eine Nuisancephone. Can you spectate and commentate on Tyler 1 for a bit? More interesting than this? Absolutely not. That's the worst chat I've ever seen. Go Elite Chat. I did talk a lot about the Tulsa trip already. I'm looking at the chat in YouTube now. You are looking thinner these days. I did lose 5 pounds in Tulsa. I was busy playing poker instead of eating. People on YouTube chat are referring to the Botez sisters as the Botox sisters. Is that a common thing, or that's just on YouTube on this particular chat? We are in 6th place out of 42 pairs. Good, good. I like the way Dina's playing this game. I like her style of the way she's moving the knights around and playing h3 and rook a3, and giving the pawn back to get an initiative. Alex lost. That's unfortunate. It's not the desired result. Oh, the board auto-refreshed again. Does that a lot. Confusing the audience. Right, let me refresh the board so the clocks get updated. Those clock times are relatively accurate. Oh, her opponent must have moved because her clock's running. Looks like he took on a4 with the b rook. I'm going to go with that. I think that's what happened. Not 100% sure. So it seems like by far the best move is queen c2, putting pressure on the c pawn. That seems difficult to find. And the second best move is to take on h6, which seems more likely with the idea of bishop h6, queen e5. And both give white an advantage, but queen c2 gives white a bigger advantage. But I mean, I can't. It would be very difficult for me to imagine white playing queen c2. Just to put pressure here on c5. Also, we're overworking the queen on a8, so maybe she'd see it, because you're attacking a4 and d5, so queen c2 threatens to take on a4 and then d5 and wins a piece. He took with the other rook. He did? Oh yeah, he did. You're right. People were telling me that, but I didn't listen. I'm old. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. And surprisingly, queen c2 is still the best move, and bishop h6 is still the second best move. This game is quite high level. Very good play by both players. And black has his rooks together and his knights together. That's what good waffles do. They stick together. Both sides have made 25 moves. Oh, somebody did something on my stream. Adam in the ATL gifted 5 subs. 6 subs. Correction. Thank you, Adam. Yay, 6 subs. What else? Yeah, the engine just thinks it's equal now after bishop takes h6. But I think both sides have to play precisely. It's a very complicated position. So black can play rook takes b2 in this position, but it's actually a mistake. Black should take the bishop on h6, and that's equal. After rook b2, it wants white to sacrifice her queen and says that she's better. That seems far from obvious, so I would not be surprised if he played rook takes b2. So the engine variation is bishop h6, queen h6, or queen e5 takes, pawn takes, knight f4, threatening, queen takes g2 checkmate, and then f3, and then for some reason knight takes h3 check is correct. And taking this is bad because queen takes pawn attacks the rook and threatens bishop e3 check winning. And this is it's considered better for white to play king f1. And for some reason this is equal. Bishop g7, and the line goes on. This seems very risky for black if you're analyzing it in advance, because your rook's hanging, your knight's hanging, queen here threatens this. So if I had black, I would never go into this. So that's good for Dina, that the best line for black is far from obvious and looks very suspicious. And this is the current position, except it's not because he moved. He did play rook takes b2. That's what I thought he would play. That seems like a more likely move. And now white can play queen e4, and the engine says it's equal. Or white can sacrifice the queen and have the advantage. Although it's still a draw. The reason this is good for white is because white's taking all of black's pieces. And white has a rook and 2 knights for a queen. A rook and 2 knights is better than a queen. But the engine still says this is only slightly better for white, because white's king obviously has some holes. So that'll be interesting if that happens. Man, the sun is coming in on the board, confusing the audience. Now the mood all changed. After rook takes b2, the lighting became all crazy. It's like a movie now. Anyway, this position could occur if she takes the rook on b2. She's looking at it and she's trying to evaluate how open her king is and if this pawn is strong and if she can attack this king. And she's like, I don't know. So this is the current position. And queen e4 is supposedly equal for some reason. Nice one, C.L. Smith. You could have made a Bruce Springsteen joke also, since he wrote this song. But his version sucks. So it's good that you said man. Well, everybody likes the Manfred Mann version better. Probably even Bruce Springsteen. Which cover that is much better than the original is the most much better? If you understand the question. The Manfred Mann, Blinded by the Light. All Along the Watchtower. Or Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. Those three covers are better than the original. Also better than the original is any version of Hallelujah, but my favorite version is Jeff Buckley. In fact, the Jeff Buckley version was played at our wedding while we got married. Johnny Cash Hurt isn't as good as the original. I don't like Johnny Cash's Hurt. Man, people are saying Johnny Cash Hurt. Terrible answer. If you want to listen to a terrible version of Bobby McGee that's not the original or the Janis version, Gordon Lightfoot has a version. No good. Go Dina, sack that queen. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix was singing. By the way, like every song in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s is a cover. Like every 6 months I hear a song and I'm like, wait a minute. And it's a song from the 50s, 60s, or 70s. And it's the original of a song that I thought was original in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And it's like every song. I can't find a song that was made in the 80s or 90s that just isn't just stolen. Terrible. It ruined my childhood. That's right. And the 70s songs are the ones from the 20s. Is it Rook on B2 free to take? Yes. And we analyzed that variation There's a bishop on g7, so black would play knight f3 check and then capture. So interesting to me. See, Dina might have trouble seeing g takes f3 because you can play rook takes f3. But in that instance, you can't take this and then take this, and the queen is defending d5. So rook knight check, rook takes f3 doesn't work because after bishop takes, the queen is defending d5. The only reason g takes f wins a piece is because the queen is overworked, defending both after rook a4 and rook d5. But she might not like the resulting position, or she might. Go Dina. Okay, so this is definitely going to happen. There's no other variation that could happen. So all these moves are going to be played. And then I have no idea what black will play, and I have no idea what the result of the game is going to be. All three results are possible. But I'd rather have white, because white's up a piece. So. Good engines claiming queen b3 is by far the best move. Queen h4 is the second best move. And otherwise, white is just winning. These are the only moves not to lose. So that's good. And Dino had less time on her clock, so she made like 5 moves. So that helps. I don't think black can be happy with the turn of events. I mean, she has a rook and 2 knights for a queen. So if I was black, I wouldn't be enjoying myself now. This is very difficult to play for both sides. It's much easier with an engine. Without an engine, I can see the players playing very inaccurately from here. Like every move, the engine's gonna be like, like for both sides. This is too complex. There's too much going on. And I think if black does nothing in the next 10 moves, white's gonna get a crushing attack because white has too many pieces. So, I mean, eventually white should win, but the engine says black can play accurately and draw here. So, I mean, the onus is on black to prove that he's not losing because of the material situation. Can you show the last moves again? Yes. So, in this position, black played rook takes b2, white took. Black played knight f3 check, attacking the queen. White took the queen. The queen on a8 is overworked. It's defending d5 and the rook. So she took the rook, and then she took the knight. And now black is thinking. And this is move 30, so they still have 10 moves to time control. I'm very happy with the transition the game has taken and how Dina's playing. Seems very nice so far. Yeah, this is move 30, so they both have to make 10 moves to get to time control. Dina has less time. After queen h4, white's bishop is attacked, so she'll probably move it to e3 from the pressure here. That's the most likely. The other idea is to play queen b3, attacking the rook and the f pawn. Rook takes c5, queen takes f3. Those are the two most obvious moves, threatening the weak pawns and the loose pieces of white. These four are not protected. Everything else in white's position is protected. And queen b3 forks the rook and the f pawn. Queen h4 forks the bishop and the h pawn. And that's why those are the two best moves. Fen Beingle, 200 bits. I'm sure Dina likes her position. Yay, Dina broke 1,000 viewers on her Twitch channel. And we broke 200. Go Ben. Dina's opponent's rating is 1880. And he's 65 or 66 years old. Looks good for his age. The candidates tournament is April 5th to April 21st. Let's see. Where's his queen? H4. So bishop e3 is the best move. It seems like the most likely. The bishop's pretty safe on e3. Puts pressure on the pawn on c5. Let me refresh and see the time situation is 8:40 to 22:11. Okay, the clock times are about accurate now. Got 10 moves to go. So black has 23 minutes and Dina has 8 minutes. Go Dina. A coquettish haberdasher. That line sounds really familiar, but I don't know what it's from. But I've heard the line. Let's see. What'd she do? Looks like there's something on e3, so I guess bishop e3. White has a small advantage. White has winning chances. It doesn't seem like black has winning chances. White has a lot of pieces. Huh. Oh yeah, I have drinks, I forgot. I guess he played c4, which loses immediately. Did he play c4? c4 just loses, it says. Yeah, now white just defends the h-pawn. Black doesn't have any counterplay. It's king g2, and black's completely lost. Black needed to take these pawns and attack the white king and put pressure and such. Now after king g2, black has no counterplay against white's king. So white will wrap up the c pawn and just be up material and win. So c4 is double question mark. She played knight e4? Okay. But just moving the king up wins. This is also winning. Yeah, c4 is just a blunder. He needed to take these pawns. His c pawn isn't going anywhere, but he needs counterplay against white's king because white's up a piece. So white plays king g2 and then white wins. Bishop g5 and take the c pawn and then checkmate black's king. But if black could play takes and takes, black has a million checks and so forth. So now she's winning. The best move is f5, and he will not play f5. God damn, he will not play f5. Nobody would play f5. Looks suicidal. Yeah, white's going to have too much attack with knight g5 and rook d8 check and knight d6. White's pieces are all going to crush black. Black doesn't have any checks. White's king is perfectly safe. Then white's going to have 4 pieces attacking black's king. Terrible. Even after f5, the engine says that white's +3. He played queen h3. That's what I expected. Now it says everything wins. Every move wins. She can't not win. In order, rook d8 check is plus 4.5. Knight d4 is plus 4. Knight g5 is plus 3.3. I mean, you can't win this pawn anymore, so there's no checks against white's king. And I'm going to attack your king with 4 pieces. So white's going to win. I think I've played chess in about 11 countries. Something like that. I counted once or twice. I don't know. I'm probably a country off. Okay, so after rook e8, he can't play king h7 because of knight g5 winning the queen. So he has to play king g7. And then he's thinking about it, which doesn't make any sense. And then knight d4 wins and knight g5 wins. I assume she'll play knight g5. Gains a tempo on the queen, defends the pawn, puts pressure on f7. And then her knight's going to come in, and it's just over. Black's king is going to get crushed. And that's not rook d8, that rook e8, it's rook d8. Everybody typoed what move she played. Terrible. Okay, she played knight d6. Okay, and this is a very bad move if he plays f6, which he won't play. Then she's still winning, but it's very close. If he doesn't play f6, he has to resign, which is very funny because knight here check is just winning. But f6 gives the king the f7 square. I would be surprised if he plays f6, but it's the only move. She probably figures everything wins because she's attacking with 4 pieces against a naked king. So it seems reasonable. But f6 is a great defense, even though it's the worst move ever, because it lets the king escape. It looks like white should have checkmate somewhere, but white doesn't. The game is going to end very quickly if he doesn't play f6, because she's going to win his queen or checkmate him with the rook, 2 knights, and a bishop. The black queen is in an excellent square for white to start checking and forking the king and queen. This is move 34. Dina's forced to play very quickly because she has less than 5 minutes on her clock. I mean, I'll fall out of my chair if he plays f6. Yeah, okay. That's better. Now it says knight g8, knight e8 check resigns. So that game's over. The game probably is... Oh, no, the game isn't over because it's actually live. Yeah, she played knight e8. He has to resign now. There's just nothing. I mean, he's just, all these pieces are checkmating him. Yeah, if king f8, knight check, and then rook mates on g8 or e8. King h7, knight check wins the queen. Probably resign this move. Yeah, the guy didn't do well once he was a queen ahead. Then he started playing poorly. Very nice game by Dina. Yay, it's an Anna Tramling raid. Thanks for the raid. Good timing, because Dina's opponent's about to resign. The game's over. Her opponent will resign this move. She's checkmating with advantage. The guy either walks into mate in 2 by putting his king on the back row, or he plays king h7, losing his queen to knight g5 check. Those are the options. He's got 2 options: hang mate in 2 or hang his queen. So resigning is probably the best option. Yeah, he resigned. Resigns was the best. Good timing for the Anna Cramling raid. Thanks for raiding. I like the way Dina played that game. The engine might not like it, but I did. I understand the human factor. It's like the human fund, money for people. Yeah, resigns was a good move. So for those of you that are confused, these are his legal moves. That's all his legal moves. If he goes to the back row, it doesn't matter where, any back row square, I play knight check. So your king is on one of these 3 squares. If your king's on h8 or g8, you have to play king g7. If your king's on f8, you could play king e7. So this is one checkmate, and this is the other checkmate. So if you don't do that and you play king h7, then knight g5 check wins your queen. Then you're down 1,000 pieces. So instead he chose the correct move, resigns. Yeah, his defense after the queen sacrifice was very poor. Dina has 4 out of 6. Tomorrow's round is either at 11 a.m. or noon. I would have to spend seconds looking it up, so I will. I know the round tomorrow's at 11 and the next round's at noon, or the round tomorrow's at noon and the next round's 11. I know they're different to confuse the audience, to make sure people get forfeited because they don't know what time the round is. Schedule. So schedule's the wrong thing. Smart. Detailed schedule. Ooh. Oh, I have to move this over. I'm just dumb. Okay, so the round tomorrow is at noon Eastern, and then the round after that's at 11 Eastern, and then the round after that is at 7 Eastern. So the last 3 rounds are all at different times. Tomorrow, noon Eastern is the round. I guess she took her camera. Let's see. It's the post-game interview. Oh, she's already talking to me. Oh, it's not her. It's somebody else. Who else is talking to me? Somebody else is talking to me? Doesn't make any sense. That's a partner update. Ugh. Care about that. Dina did win. And this is the final position. White either wins the queen on f3 or checkmates black. So black resigned. Very nice game by Dina, in my opinion. 35 moves. I like the way she played better than the engine did. The raiders are on Dina's channel, not on mine. People who raid the stream raid Dina's channel because it's Dina's games. They don't raid my channel. I guess I'll order food because I'm hungry. And then I'll have time to take a 1 hour nap. And then I'll have time to prepare the stream of this class. Let's see, what do I do? Oh yeah, I order food. How could I not know how to order food? That's the only thing I know how to do. They deliver quickly, so that's good. What's happening? I guess Dina's here and I'm ignoring her. No, the Indian restaurants are closed. What's happening? How are the pieces being moved? Seen her walk by Andrea just now. Well, Dina had a good day. She drew a lost position and she won a complicated game. Thanks, Phil W. May, for subscribing at Dina's channel. I'm talking to Dina now, making sure the Zoom link is the same. Dina will be on the stream here in less than a minute, even if she's not. Yeah, less than a minute, probably less than 30 seconds. Invalid meeting ID. No, come on. You tricked me. Okay, now she gave me the right one. That cost us several seconds.
Hello.
Hello. That was
I
good.
know.
I was very impressed with the game, and I was impressed more than the engine because I understood
I
the human issues.
yeah. I think I was worse the entire game, but I didn't know. I just didn't know what to do.
No, no, you
No.
were like never worse.
Really?
I like the way you played this game. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
It's like the first time ever I played I mean, before I only started, the first time I ever been on it, and I'm like, okay, I got the pawn, but why am I so passive? Like, what is my plan? So I just was turning pieces around.
Okay, well let's talk about the game. Um,
Yeah.
so this is all the engine thought you were better. This is all fine.
Yeah, this was my prep. I stopped here.
Where here?
It's like
Which position?
like bishop c4, I think. Bishop c4 my prep stuff. Like if he plays g6 slow setup, then I should be like just up the pawn.
Oh wait, you mean bishop?
But
You mean
like
bishop c4 on move 8?
yeah,
When
like g6 is not the strongest. The strongest is to take the pawn on b5.
yeah, it's just a
But
different
I'm not
line.
even sure
Yeah,
about bishop c4.
these lines were popular in the 80s and 90s. You know when that was?
Oh, before I was born.
Yeah, many games in the United States because before you were born, Lev Albert was always playing the Benko, and the American players
Wow.
liked to play E3. So in the 80s and 90s, lots of American GM games in this line.
So I play like American GMs.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, and then this is all fine. This is
Oh,
everybody's
wait, wait,
playing
wait.
fine.
I think I'm confused. Let me see one second. What did I do in the game? I played the f3. Wait, he played g6. When did he play g6? He played g6,
E3
some
G6.
move. Oh, after e3, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, oh, g6 here. Wait, wait, wait. Just a second. I'm checking my files.
Uh huh.
Oh, okay, I see. It's e4 instead of bishop c4. I guess it's
Bishop
transposition.
C4 is not the most common move, but it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, E4 is more common. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so this is all fine. White's slightly better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this position, it wants you to play D6, which is a big decision.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't. This was my plan, but then I was like, but it's like, is it gonna be a strength or a weakness?
Exactly. That's why it's a big decision. But the engine likes it. I have two engines, one for each of you. They both wanted you to play D6. But it's very hard to play because, as you said, you might lose the D pawn, then it's stupid. But
I didn't see how to protect it after knight e8, knight b5, and queen b6.
yeah, then I guess bishop f4. Or actually,
You
it wants you to play
can play
knight
knight
f4.
h5.
Wants you to play knight f4 in some position, but I don't know which one. Queen b6 here?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it says a lot of things are good for white. Like bishop e3 is good, bishop f4, knight ec3.
Bishop e3, I thought knight g4.
Then bishop g5 to go here.
Oh god, Ben, this is complicated. How am I supposed to find bishop g5?
Because you want to play bishop e7. Well, no, but you don't have to play bishop e3. You can play bishop f4. Then after knight h5,
Then knight h5.
right? Then bishop e3. Now there's no knight g4. Very
Oh, this
sneaky.
I actually thought, but you know what? Maybe it's
Sneaky.
knight e4 instead of knight h5.
Correct. Knight
This
e4
I
is,
got
knight
the
e4
same
is better.
idea.
Yeah. Now it says knight c7 is good and knight ec3 is good. They're both good.
Okay. Well, I stopped here. I was like, I don't understand this.
Yeah, no,
Like, I cannot evaluate
I
it.
don't begrudge you for not playing d6 because it's a crazy kind of, yeah.
It's pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, what you
Way
played
too
is
crazy.
fine. Yeah, you're slightly better here than he equalized. Rook b3 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here, I thought I was
he
like minus. I thought he was like a pawn up, like plus
no,
-1.
no,
This is what
no,
I thought of the
no, he's not
evaluation.
better at all. No, here he should take
Like
the rook
after
on
rook
a3.
b3,
He should play rook takes
after rook
a3.
b3, I thought I was lost.
No, you're slightly better or equal. Probably equal.
But then I found rook a3 on the last movement. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was also shocked how much he had time and how little had I.
That's
And it's
correct.
not because I was walking for my tea and coffee. It's because
I think the engines wanted you to play queen e2 here to get out of the pin. Because you put pressure on
Okay.
a6 so he can't take on d5. But rook a3 is fine. He has to take on a3. Rook b4 is bad. Now you're better. And then knight d7 is
wow.
knight d7 is probably bad also. Well, you're pawn up. So you're pawn up.
Like h3 then was literally my last move that I was like, okay, after h3 I don't have moves. I don't know what to do.
No, I thought you would play h3 every move. I was like h3.
Yeah, but what do I do next? Like imagine he goes king h1. What do I play?
No, because
Probably
king h1
I go
hangs,
bishop g5.
king h1 hangs his king to your knight and king.
Oh.
But you mean king h8.
Wait, okay, king h8, bishop g5. But okay, what
No.
about h6?
h6. Ugh. Then you take
Yeah.
it.
Oh yes, shit. I saw that. Damn.
No, your
okay.
game is perfectly fine here.
Chad, he's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, he played this, and then yeah, this is great. Queen e2 is the best move. When he played h6, I was like, ugh. As a grandmaster, I don't like the move h6. I don't like it.
I was expecting f5 and then knight g5, and
Yeah.
I want and knight c4, knight b5. That was my plan. Another beautiful tactic with knight b5.
Yeah, and also,
think about that?
like if he plays knight c4, you can just play rook a2, and he's out of. He can't continue. Like he's out of everything. Yeah, you just rook a2 is fine. Yeah, knight b5. I wanted you to play knight b5 because it was so interesting. And then knight d5
Yeah,
is
knight b5
forced.
was my plan.
Yeah, this is forced. This is forced. This is fine. This is fine. And in this position, the best move is for you to play queen c2.
Whoa. Queen
Yeah.
e4.
Queen e4?
No. After bishop h6.
No.
Sorry.
What you did is better. Yeah. Queen e4 is equal. Okay.
Yeah.
But in this position, you should play queen c2, and you're better here.
Oh.
Because c5 is weak. But nobody's going to find queen c2. So I didn't care that you didn't find that. And now rook takes b2 is a mistake, but he's still okay. But what he should do is take on a3. And then after b takes a3, knight f4, threatening mate.
Whoa. I had it. Wait, I'll tell you. Knight b7 doesn't work, right? Does it?
Where?
Knight b7. No, knight b7 doesn't work, Sag.
b7. Slow voice.
Yeah. It's that. Well, I guess, I don't know, just f3.
f3 is the only move, otherwise you're lost.
The only move, yeah.
Then knight h3 and king f1's the best move.
Oh, always play king f1.
Yeah. And then somehow this is equal, but like bishop g7, and it's just insane. But it's equal, according to that strong engine. And I was like, he'll never find this. So I liked your position because I thought he would play rook takes b2. Because he'll never find knight f4 and knight h3. Like, he'll never find any of that.
Correct. I was looking at knight f4 after bishop h6, queen e5, and now knight e4 instead of rook b2. But then I was
Now,
I
now
guess
rook
knight
f3 is
b-
winning immediately.
That's what I thought, rook f3.
Yeah.
But I was looking at rook a1, but I guess it's not a problem. Rook a1.
Rook
Probably
where?
just take and king h2
Rook a1?
after rook f3.
Yeah, you take it, play king h2, and he resigns.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And but yeah, when he played rook b2, at first I was really curious about queen e4.
Queen
but I think
e4
it
is
doesn't
fine.
work because of rook takes a3, I guess.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
if bishop g7, then
correct.
rook a1.
Correct. Everything you said is correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like I'm probably lost there.
It
I
actually
don't know,
says
rook
it's
a1.
like it's about equal.
Oh,
But
and here, like I guess,
but the analysis is all crazy. So
I couldn't see the right move here. Like, yeah, I wasn't sure what's the move here. Queen e5? No.
the only move is rook takes rook, queen takes, king h2.
Yeah, and now
The best move is rook e2, but nobody's playing that.
like here I was looking at this position and was like, what the fuck?
Right, that's
couldn't
correct.
understand.
Your analysis was correct. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's some lines I thought I was winning, but it's some lines I was like, I really don't understand what's going on.
Yeah,
so I
like-
decided like it just looked at if I take the if I like give away the queen,
Right.
it should be
As soon as this
practically winning.
happened, like every move he played was terrible. So this is all forced. He can play queen b3 or queen h4. Queen h4 is okay. Yeah, and now he failed. Now blunder, 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 blunder.
But he should absolutely take the pawns, and I don't really know.
Yeah, he takes the
how
pawn,
it's, like,
and the good engine says you're like 0.3, 0.4 better.
F4. I don't know if I should take on c5 or go f4.
I have to go to the good engine. The bad engine's not good enough for this position.
Yeah, I'm curious if I take on c5. Is it like is it like
Okay,
I thought
good
I-
engine says knight c4 is the best move.
What?
Knight c4 is the only
C4?
good move.
I would never play that.
Then you're slightly better.
No, I wouldn't play that. I would either go f4 or rook or c5. Or knight-
f4 is equal. And what's the other move?
rook c5.
Rook c... Oh, I play on the wrong board. Rook c5, queen f3 is all zeros, it says.
Okay. Well, yeah, I probably would play something like this, and then would try carefully.
Yeah, but after queen c4, you're better. After knight c4.
No, but this I wasn't even considering, and I had like 30 seconds on my clock.
Right, yeah, no, of course.
But I don't want to. Oh, I attacked the bishop. Oh,
Yeah.
that's why.
Boy,
Oh, I attacked the
c4
bishop.
c4 just loses. C4 is
Yeah.
blunder. And now
I-
you just win by playing king g2 or king h2 and the game's over. Like as soon as he doesn't play queen h3, you win. Because you have 4 pieces and you made him.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Well, your
correct.
move is still winning. And then you made a mistake here, but he made a bigger mistake. So knight g5 and
Wait.
knight d4 are the best moves.
What?
Yeah, knight
Wait, 96 doesn't win?
Knight d6, he has one move, and I knew he wouldn't find it. And after his one move, you're up like 1.3, but he'll never find it.
What?
So
oh my
you're
God.
actually like plus 1,000 unless he plays the right move. But I knew he wouldn't play the right move, so I knew you were going to win immediately.
Wait. That's not possible, Ben. It's like you're this is nonsense.
I wouldn't lie to you.
That's impossible. Like there's no.
Should I show you the
don't know,
move?
like G5,
No,
F5.
never play f6. That way his king has some squares now. So you don't like win everything.
God.
Yeah. Now you have to win the game again.
No.
You're probably winning with 2 engines are playing, but you don't have like a way to win immediately.
Well, yeah. Well, the most important is my king is safe, and I didn't even lose the F3 pawn, so
Right,
I should
yeah.
be fine here.
Yeah, that's why like the easiest win was just playing king g2 here, and then he can't do anything. He has no counterplay ever. Ever.
Yeah, it's cool.
Never can do
I
anything.
didn't see... Instead of knight e4, was knight c7 winning? Knight c7 instead of knight d6, or it's same f6?
Knight c7. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
knight g5 and knight d4 are the best moves. Knight c7, f6 again.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the only
okay.
move, just to get the king some air.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's
Oh, because
probably going to win eventually.
I cannot play rook d7. God, I was gonna blunder the rook.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh no.
Yeah, then he played queen f3, and I was like, God damn. What,
Yeah,
you know what's funny
probably
about
didn't-
this position? If you don't play knight e8 check, you're not winning. You have to play knight e8 check.
Wait, but Ben, that was my idea. Like it's
I know, but it's
checkmate.
funny
Come
that you don't
on.
have other moves that win, because his king is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're really
that's
winning.
correct.
I like the way you played that game. That was good. Yeah, that guy.
Nice.
You're going to be surprised if you don't know. If you don't know. How old is your
Well,
opponent?
I saw he's in senior category, but I think he's. I'm pretty sure he's some kind of like old monster. I'm pretty sure his USCF is about
Right.
2000.
He's a national master. He used to be 2200. He's 65
no, I
or
could see
66, and when I saw him, I thought he was in his late 40s. But he's 65.
Yeah, no, he does look good. He does look good. I agree.
Yeah. That's why you had trouble playing. You were so attracted.
Hey, if like I am not into 35 plus.
What about
very
65
precise.
plus? That's a different category.
Too much. Too much.
Anyway, good game. I like
Okay.
that game. That was good.
Well, finally, I made you proud.
Yeah, I like that game. Very complicated, and you weaved your way through. And man, at the end,
Yeah.
he really failed at the end. You know, once you had 700 pieces, he couldn't deal with it.
Wait. It's interesting. King G2 prophylactical thinking. I didn't consider this, but it's nice. I agree, it's nice.
Yeah, it's hard in time
Yeah.
trouble to play like a boring move like that.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, c4 is just terrible. He has to play queen h3. Because now there's no counterplay for black. Now you just start mating him.
What if C3 just, I guess, rook C5?
It says every move wins immediately. It doesn't matter what you do. Rook c5 is good. Because, you know, you have like bishop d4, rook here. I mean, it doesn't
So
matter
I'm
what
not
he
sure
does.
about knight e4 anymore. Knight e4, I'm not sure that I would win.
Knight e4 here after c3?
Yeah, knight e4 doesn't make sense anymore.
It says you're winning.
Oh, really? C2?
Yeah, it says c2, rook c5.
I guess just rook C5. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
you
doesn't want
just-
to promote.
It says you just win. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, once you play king g2,
I get
your
it.
king is the safest king in the world.
Nice. That's great.
But what you did was
Honestly,
winning, and then he has to play f6, which nobody's going to play. So,
Right.
so it didn't matter. Hooray. Go Dina.
Yay. Well, it was a long day today at the office.
Yes. You're telling me.
No, I'm actually telling you because I know for you it was like, I don't know who suffered more, you and me.
Yeah. Well, I had to wake up at 4 in the morning, so I suffered.
Oh, damn. Well, luckily tomorrow game is at 4 in the afternoon, so
Hooray. Go
we're
Ben, go
gonna
Dina.
both get some sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. How is my baby doing?
Who's your baby?
My baby girl.
By the way, I'm not the only one who
She's
I'm not
fighting.
I'm not the
She's
only
gonna
one
make
who
a draw.
said this. I'm not the only one who said this. During the game, you looked like Andrea a little.
Oh, that's because I'm wearing the hat.
You had the whole look. The way you were sitting too, you sat like she sat sometimes.
Yeah, but it's like I'm kind of copying.
But you played better than
Like,
Andrea,
I'm
so
like a
that was good.
pirate.
Yeah, don't copy the way she
Oh.
plays. Yeah, don't do that.
Thank you. Wait, but she's gonna draw this. I thought she was completely. Oh no. No, live position is different.
Let me pull it up.
I thought if she gets to, oh yeah, she needs to sacrifice the bishop for 2 pawns, but it's, yeah, it's not clear. Oh no. because Hammer was analyzing rook and knight, but with the bishop and 2 pawns, it's tough.
This is no fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
She
is
was
the
way
no fun
worse?
defense.
Well, okay.
Что?
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The chat says she was worse.
Well, she's
Well-
still worse.
Yeah, that's true. Nice. All right, well, Ben, how about we rate my girl support?
Boats has live.
Yeah, what do you think?
Shocking.
this
A
will bring her
shocking.
extra.
That's a shocking decision on your part, but okay.
Maybe this will help her
Amazing.
sacrifice her bishop for 2 pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Will bring her extra energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay! Go
Okay.
Dina. Good day at the office.
I hope so. Well, tomorrow I'm definitely gonna play someone higher rated.
Yeah, that's
Probably
good. Time to beat
IM.
some
If
higher
I were
rated
to guess,
players.
would be IM.
Yeah, probably an IM. I agree.
All right. Well, big shout out to our beautiful moderators. You do amazing job. Santa Hasino, you're the best. YouTube chat, as usual, pulling strong. I see you guys. You're great. HVV bad, another bot. Super strong, acting here. Everybody, thanks for watching. Had proved itself. We brought 1.5 out of 2 to the house.
Yay.
And we finally gonna go sleep. But first, we're probably gonna catch up some food
Mm-hmm.
before it closes.
Okay, good luck tomorrow. Go
Thank
Dina.
you, Ben.
Mhm.
Thank you. You were the
Congrats.
best. Everybody, guys, you were the best. Thank you for your support. I love you all. All right.